Having seen what a quadratic form is and the various definiteness, we would like to see what is further to be understood in quadratic forms. One of the serious issues about quadratic forms is that it conceals the true structure of the object. One should understand that quadratic forms represent objects either on the plane or in the space, depending upon the number of dimensions in the quadratic form. So, what is that which has to be understood from quadratic forms, and what is stopping us from recognizing the object's true nature? The problem in quadratic forms is the presence of cross product terms. Now, one of the things we are going to learn in this lecture is to reduce a quadratic form to what is known as a canonical form. A canonical form is also called a sum of squares form. There are several methods to reduce a quadratic form to a canonical form, but one of the techniques is to use an orthogonal transformation to reduce it to the canonical form. So let's look at the introductory parts. If A is a n by n symmetric matrix, then there exists an orthogonal transformation of the variables prescribed by x is equal to py that transforms the quadratic form x transpose ax into a new quadratic form y transpose dy with no cross product terms. In other words, x transpose ax may have cross product terms, but the goal is to convert it into another quadratic form y transpose dy which has no cross product terms. So recognition becomes possible in the y transpose dy aspect. This is called the canonical form of x transpose ax. The columns of P are called the principal axis of x transpose ax, and finding the principal axis of A amounts to finding a new coordinate system with respect to which the graph or the object is in the standard position. For example, we may be given a quadratic form x transpose ax, which may represent an ellipse, but not in the standard position. So it may be having a major and a minor axis in directions which are not parallel to x-axis or y-axis. By using a suitable rotation matrix P, we can bring that ellipse to the standard location. So the idea behind canonical form is to express a quadratic form having cross product terms to another quadratic form without the cross product terms. So this is the essence of today's discussion. So two examples are being presented. The first one is we have a quadratic form 3x1 square plus 3x2 square plus 3x3 squared plus 2x1x2 plus 2x1x3 minus 2x2x3. And we want to convert this into a sum of squares form by an orthogonal transformation. So observe that there are three cross product terms, 2x1x2 plus 2x1x3 and 2x2x3. So this will prevent us from understanding the geometry of this object. So let us see how we can use reduction to canonical form and then understand what it represents. So from the quadratic form, first we write the symmetric matrix 3 1 1 1 3 minus 1 1 minus 1 3, where the diagonal elements are the coefficients of the squared terms in the quadratic form. So you find the characteristic equation and the eigenvalues as 1 4 4. Eigenvalues are also called latent values, and corresponding to lambda 1 is equal to 1, the eigenvector is minus 1 1 1. Corresponding to lambda is equal to 4, we get 1 0 1 and 1 1 0. But this choice of vectors 1 0 1 1 1 0 is not good in the present context because they're not mutually orthogonal. So we use the Gram-Schmidt process and then convert these two vectors into two new vectors which are mutually orthogonal. So we retain the first one 101 as it is, and then we find out the next one as 1 by 2, 1 minus 1 by 2 using the Gram-Schmidt process. Then we normalize all the eigenvectors. We get E1, E2, and E3. E1 is U1 divided by its norm. E2 is U2 divided by its norm. E3 is U3 divided by its norm. So once the normalized eigenvectors have been found, which are orthonormal, you store them in the matrix P. So this matrix P will be an orthogonal matrix. So one of the key issues about reduction to canonical form is that the matrix P should be orthogonal. And whenever repeated eigenvalues arise, we may start with non-orthogonal vectors, but you have to make them orthogonal using the Gram-Schmidt process. And once all the vectors are available, you normalize them and store it in P. Then we diagonalize using P transpose AP or P inverse AP, and we get the diagonal matrix. Now, if you start with X is equal to Py, and then the quadratic form Q is equal to X transpose AX, so you can insert X is equal to Py, and then X transpose will be Y transpose P inverse or P transpose. Remember, P inverse is equal to P transpose for orthogonal matrices. And we already know that P transpose AP or P inverse AP is a diagonal matrix. Therefore, X transpose AX is getting transformed into Y transpose DY. And it is this Y transpose DY which will give us a quadratic form without the cross product terms. So we started with a quadratic form Q of X, which had 3 cross product terms. The 3 cross product terms 2x1 x2 plus 2x1 x3 minus 2x2 x3, which no more exist in the new quadratic form, that is y1 square plus 4y2 square plus 4y3 square. This is called canonical form because of 2 reasons. It does not have the cross product terms, and more significantly, the coefficients of y1 square, y2 square, and y3 square are precisely the eigenvalues of the symmetric matrix A. So this quadratic form represents an ellipsoid in 3 dimensions. So what was not comprehensible in the original form is easily comprehensible once you're converted into the canonical form. There is a second example in which we have 1 cross product term. So we would like to convert this into the canonical form and see what its structure is. So from the quadratic form, we extract the symmetric matrix. The eigenvalues are 1, 2, 4. Distinct eigenvalues. So we'll have distinct eigenvectors. And you don't have to use a Gram-Schmidt process because they are naturally orthogonal to each other. We normalize them using the norm and then store it in the matrix P or P cap. And then we find out P inverse, which is P transpose. We complete the diagonalization process. And now we embark upon finding out the canonical form. So as before, start with Q is equal to X transpose AX, and then X is equal to PY, and then careful treatment will lead this to Y transpose DY, giving us y1 square plus 2y2 square plus 4y3 squared, which once again is representing an ellipsoid in 3 dimensions. So this is the process by which we achieve the canonical reduction of a quadratic form. So as already discussed, it is a cross product terms that play havoc in the recognition process, and by transforming into a canonical form, we are in a position to recognize the true nature of the object. I hope this lecture has been understood. Let us go to the last module where we talk about some basic properties of quadratic forms like index, rank, signature, etc.